Hey, are you thirsty for some inspiration and good energy? Why not sip on a piping hot cup of spiritual tea? If you want to get the real life juice, simply listen to Goose. Welcome to a new episode of the Mama Goose Show. Let's talk real talk. I did have a show scheduled for you guys, and I am just so praying that my guest will be able to join us. She is having some login issues. Nonetheless, our episode today, of course, you guys know, is dealing with change, right? Life change. And it is a subject that is mostly associated with women. However, we all know that the change in life is not just for women. No, men go through the change in life as well, right? Yes, they do. Aha, I see that she is trying to come into the show. So let me introduce myself. I am Mama Goose, aka Valerie Champion. And this, hallelujah, is a safe platform where we discuss any issues that arises. No topic is off limits. The only thing we don't do, we just don't use profanity, but we're going to talk about everything. Hallelujah. We're going to talk about parenting. We're going to talk about life changes as we are today with my dear sister, Author sister, should I say, Miss Shadia Smith Little. I love her to death. When I tell y'all the book that she wrote, oh my God, I actually went through the change kind of early. And so I have had the opportunity to already read her book where she discusses her journey with the change in life. And of course, yeah, I use the change in life. Menopause is like a hard word sometimes. So I just say change in life, right? And so I will not prolong it any further. I am going to go ahead and bring my guest into the studio, my dear sister, Shandia. Hi.
Hi. Hello. I hope you can hear me well.
I can hear you and I can see you, and
Hi.
I am so glad that
Okay.
you were finally able to get in.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let you just introduce yourself before we get into our discussion. And you can. I just
Okay.
told them that you're my sister and that you're my Arthur friend. I didn't divulge any other information. I am going to let you do that.
Oh, awesome. Listen, first of all, let me thank you, Sister Val, for inviting me on your show. It's just, I'm humbly grateful. Listen, when I talk about myself, I normally tell everyone up front that I'm Gigi, I'm not grandma. That's one of my life's accomplishments. Just to have my grandchildren call me Gigi. I've been married to my high school sweetheart, Donnie,
Oh,
for
wow.
36 years. We've been in a relationship for around 40 years, and we've grown up together. So he's not only my husband, my boyfriend, but he's also my pastor. And he's senior pastor over Divine Appointment Outreach Ministries here in Cartersville, Georgia. And we're just grateful that we're able to do just what our ministry says, outreach. Not just a pulpit ministry where we preach the gospel, even though we believe in preaching the gospel. We reach out to the community through the homeless, the elderly. You know,
Mhm.
we service families through the Donnie Lee Little Junior Scholarship that provides an educational to one person each year in the Human Service Early Childhood Departments at Montgomery
Oh, wow.
Community College, where I received my associate degree. So I have a long introduction to sum it up, but I'm grateful for each and
You,
every one I'm having, just taking advantage of tonight to share just how great God really has been to us along this journey. So that pretty much sums it up for me.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, well, you and I both know that we are here to talk about the change in life, and I'm glad that this is a topic that we are discussing. Um, I hear echo. I'm sorry. Okay. 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 So for me, when I initially told my doctor that I was going through menopause, my doctor told me, "No, you're not. You're too young." And I'm thinking like, no, my body is telling
Mhm.
me I'm going through this, right? And she was like, "No, well, we're just gonna test you for it." And she was like, "Well, how old is your mother?" And my mother said she was like 42, 43 when she initially started going through premenopause. And so when she gave me the test, she said it came back negative. And let me tell you why I felt like I was. My body started to heat up from the inside. Literally, I could feel my body heat up from the inside, and sweat just start popping out everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, oh
Yeah.
my God, what is
Hmm.
going on? Where did these things come from? Why is this happening to me? And then it got to
Hmm.
the point where I missed my monthly for like 5 months straight, right? And then when it did, she
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
when it did show up, it showed up full fledged the whole month. And so she's like, well, if
Yeah.
you 6 months, then maybe I would say you're going through it. And so she tried to give me some pills to regulate my monthly. And I'm thinking,
Hmm.
no, doc, no, if it's time, my body is telling me that it's time, then I don't want any medication to stop it. I was having mood swings coming out of left field,
Right.
right field, center field, emotions
Yeah.
everywhere, everywhere, and so
Hmm.
when I realized it and I told her, she was like, okay, well, I guess you are going, through menopause, you're premenopause. And I'm thinking premenopause. I think I'm there, you know. And
You're
so,
there. Yeah.
yeah, I'm there. When I read your book, I mean, I was just floored because I'm thinking, like, this some of this is me. Some of this is me. This is me. And it was very helpful.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, so your first sentence, right? It hit home, and I highlighted it, and that's why I know it hit home because I resonated with it too. You say it has taken
Okay.
almost 55 years for me to love myself the way I do
Yeah.
today. That's the first sentence in your
Mm-hmm.
introduction. So the
Yeah.
journey that you're on includes 55 years of not loving Candia. What took you so long?
Yes.
It's like, you know,
Oh my goodness. You want me to sum it up? I'll give you the long version or short. There's a long version and a short version to it. And you
okay,
ask me what you want, okay?
we'll
But
take the
I'm
short
going to
version
give you the
today.
short version for the sake of time. Honestly, I believed what everyone else said about me. And I was so busy in a sense trying to live up to who they thought I was supposed to be and who they thought, in my mind, I was almost being transformed. No, I wasn't almost. I was really transformed into a version of Shonda or
Mhm.
Shandy or Shan, the nicknames, every name that I was being called until I reached a point in life to where things were taking control of me. And you just
Mm,
summed up a lot of them. But when I reached that point of 50s, now every decade I noticed changes. But when I
mhm.
hit that 50 mark, Jubilee, let me tell you, and my whole mind, body, and soul said, who you used to be. And I went through things with menopause that I'd never had. And I'm not telling you it started at 50. Menopause started way before my 50s. But I went through a mental, physical, and spiritual change or
Mhm.
changes. So by the time I really, and I'm still in the evolving because I'm not even the person I was when I wrote Red Glasses.
Wow.
But the spiritual side of me started to speak more to the physical and the mental side of it. So if that makes any sense whatsoever,
Yes.
then yeah.
Yes, yes. When I read it, I was like, 55 years is a long time, but I truly do relate to that because it took
Mm-hmm.
me many years as well to come to love. Oh, to come to love the person that I am now. So, but when I saw that, I was like, wow, so I'm not the only one, in this boat um who didn't love themselves,
Right.
initially, taking on the
Right.
names and the callings that everybody else, and even the negative, so it was relatable.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, so the so-called change, of life, like I said, that's my word for it, can make you into a new person. Did this create challenges
Yeah.
in your marriage? And if so, how did the both of you respond?
Oh wow. Wow. Yes, it did. It created so many changes. But let me say this. I'm really blessed to have known Donnie for so many years. And
Mhm.
when it started to happen, he knew he knew something was
Okay.
happening.
Okay.
It happening. His mom, of course, he lived with his life and his sister, all that stuff. But those guys were pretty young when he left them, home. You know, see his sisters go through anything like this. And his mother, even though she may have gone through some changes and had some of the same things happening, he lost his mother at a
At a
his
very early.
father at a pretty young age.
Okay.
So I think Don his mother's emotions with grief. Going somewhere with this, but
Okay. I
was,
can't. I'm sorry.
I started to cry all the time, and for no reason. At the drop of the hat, I was edgy about things.
Crying.
Right for me in the house. So not only
Shandia, you're breaking up.
it was just elevating all the time, and I'm really not. Even though I have that A personality, if you want to say that, kind of bubbly and creative. Donnie knew something was wrong.
Okay.
And a relationship, because or if it became physical, like just okay right now, and I never, or I'm not saying I never, but let me put it this way: it wasn't typical for me to treat him that way.
Okay.
So
he knew his girl
I'm going
wasn't.
to tell you this. It got to the point where he just had taken more than he could take, so he called a doctor for him.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
He
he
made
made
the appointment. I didn't make the appointment. So
wow. Okay.
is
Interesting.
that making
So
any sense where we're
yes,
going
it
with this?
does.
Or can you
He,
still hear me? I'm sorry. I know it's frozen
you
on
were
my end a
choppy.
little bit.
You were choppy a little bit, but
Valerie?
he saw. Can you hear me?
Oops.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Are you there, Shandia?
Okay.
Awesome. You're still
So
there, right?
I
Okay.
can hear
I
you
still see you.
now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
What I heard you say was that it was your husband, number one. He saw the change in you. You was not the same person. So he didn't wait. He made the call and the appointment for you to see the doctor. Oh, okay. I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you still hear
Okay, I can hear you
me?
now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think you're going in and out. Okay, let me let me tell you this question, because in your book you documented a journey. Honestly, you really did document a journey in your book. And because I know that menopause is a beast, and if you're not prepared mentally,
It's
and
hard to
we're never prepared for it because we don't know when it's coming, but it can affect you both mentally and emotionally. And in your book, you give us several tips and suggestions on how we can manage our day-to-day emotions. And if you care, I would love for you to share some of your tips that you have in your book. And I believe they start on page, let me go there. I had it marked. They start on page 38.
I can hear you. Yes.
You call, as a matter of fact, you call them my Be Healthy tips. and that's BEE. I I'm gonna tell everybody you have a love for bumblebees. How about that? What what is your fascination with bumblebees first? Arthur Shandia.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you say that again? I didn't hear you, Valerie.
What's your I read the
Okay.
title of
Did you ask the
your
question
tip.
because I missed it?
It says my be healthy tips. What's your we lost her, y'all. But she has on her in her book, which is titled Red Glasses, and it says Surrender Journal. And page 38, Arthur Shandia offers us what she calls my be healthy tips, right? And I'm just going to read off a few of her tips. I won't read all of them because she actually has a total of 50 tips, suggestions for us to use when we are going through this change on our journey. You know, we can use these, and hopefully she will come back into the studio. So she says, spend quality time with your family, sip on some warm honey and lemon tea. Or she says, find a hobby. She said it can be anything as simple as putting together a puzzle. And what I have found, I went back to my love, and I have a love for coloring. And so what I have found is that, if you can see my color pencils, is that coloring helps me. It is peaceful, it's soothing, and my one of my girlfriends, well, one of my sisters did not know that I had a love for coloring. And so what she did was she bought me a coloring book, right? And so that helps me. And that's one of Shandia's, and she's back, y'all. And that's one of her tips where she says to find a hobby. It can be as simple as putting a puzzle together. I'm actually reading over some of your tips on page 38 that I actually highlight. And she says this is one that I'm trying to get into. She says, organize your environment. Save time by placing things in their rightful places. Pretty much declutter your space. I was like, oh my God, she is like saving up. Now, what I want to point out is her number 18, which says speak affirmations over yourself. Now, that's something I hope that you all are doing on a daily basis, on a regular basis, is speaking affirmations over yourself. And she says, see, surrender, journal. And I want you to tell them a little bit about your journal because I find it very fascinating that you actually have a journal in the back of the book. It's a 21-day journal, but it's interesting. So that was going to be my next question was what actually gave you the idea to put a journal in the back of the book?
Hmm.
Right here. What made you do this? Can you see the journal? Can you hear me, Shandia?
Okay. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Hmm.
Um, but the journal itself was so what made me. Can you hear
I can hear you.
me?
Hmm.
Yes,
All right.
I can hear. So I hope.
Okay. I can hear you.
Um, we wanted everyone to become an active participant in their journey.
Okay.
Because I had to walk my and I'm still walking my journey today. But it's
Okay.
teacher in me says if you write down, you see it, you walk through it, you actually are applying what you're writing. It's all those senses. My goal is to a participant in his or her own through menopause as well.
Hmm.
So this book is not
Exactly.
just for women. Again, I thought I was just for women. But believe it or not, my husband started to identify with some of the same symptoms. And he
Wow.
started having difficulty moving things, and things started to happen with him. And
It's
we discovered
interesting,
that it can happen to either or,
right?
male.
And what's interesting to me
Is to
is
chart
that
your
is that done.
journey and to get you to
I'm sorry.
see each day, hopefully some changes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that Donnie is the first man that I've heard of to actually
Are there any more questions,
to
Valerie?
I do have one more. What is the red zone? What is the red zone?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
What other questions do you have for me?
I was asking you what was the red zone. Can you hear me? What is the red zone? What is the red zone? Did you hear me, Shandia? What is the red zone? I am so sorry that she initially the red zone. Where is it? She says it's what is called. Can you hear me? I was asking what is the red zone. You want to tell us about the red zone? This is what she says. She says, when my eyes came open, I ran
The
away.
red
Yes, the red zone. They say you're frozen. You're frozen. Your connection. Oh, okay. Well, she says that when her eyes came open, she ran away from the negative mental place and she stepped into what she calls the red zone. It's a new place. She said it's where she goes to shut out the voices of others and listen to what God has to say. When I tell y'all, menopause truly is a beast, and there is no way on earth that you can ever be prepared for it because we never know when we are going to be hit with it. And it's like she said, both men and women actually go through this change of life. Most men doesn't like to, acknowledge it, but because even when I looked up, what was funny was that when I looked up the definition of menopause, right? They don't even mention in the definition, they don't even mention a man. They don't even mention man. They says it says the period in a woman's life, typically between 45 and 50 when it occurs. But that's not, it's not just for women. Menopause is just not for women. So when I looked up that definition, I was like, well, I know that women, we are the only one that has, our monthly, but women are not the only one that goes through menopause, right? And so hopefully, there you are. So hopefully, I was trying to give a definition of your red zone. Can you hear me, Shandia? Nonetheless, what I want to can you hear me, Shandia? Can you just I have a little information on how the people can
Yes, I
reach
hope you
out.
can hear me now.
I can hear you. You still a little froze, but I can hear you.
I'm sorry.
Can
I
you
can
hear?
hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, but I'm not sure if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay.
So you want to give a little about the red
Yes.
zone? Okay. Now I can't. I can't hear you now.
Okay.
I heard okay.
Okay. Great.
You keep going in and
I
out.
can hear you too.
Okay, you keep going in and out. Like I
Yes.
can't hear you now. Okay. Are you
Got
able
to
are you
move
able
closer
are you able to go
to downstairs and see if
okay.
that'll change.
Okay.
Yes, I can. M- My red zone started out as my bad place, but and I have created this entire room with red things. Can't hear me? I'm sorry.
I can.
I created this entire room of happy things called my red zone. So this room became my of happy things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
You say it became your happy
Yeah.
place?
Okay. Let's see if I can and see. Is it better now?
I can hear you. Yes.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you can. Wait a minute. Okay, let me know when you can hear me better. Different
I
parts
can
of.
hear you. Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. Let me know if it's yes. So are you hearing me?
Yes.
Um, because yes. Okay. I had to move to a different house. It be I had to create a room. Great. Okay, great. I had to things of that nature. And I created a happy place, a happy room. And that room was I just started collecting things. So what started out as more negative, like with the symptoms of menopause,
Mm-hmm.
I started to actually being a visual person. I needed all the visual items. The teacher in me needed things that were tangible. The teacher in me needed to create. And the woman in me needed the feminine things. So I gave it the Paris thing, the room
Mm-hmm.
that I just, it's just like totally different up there. So I've had to switch to downstairs. But what I mean is that red zone wasn't just a room, it became a mindset. In my happy place, that's when I started to learn who I was becoming, the person
Mm-hmm.
that I was becoming. And that red zone, I want to get this point across to each one listening and everyone who will even catch this later. Everybody, I believe, has a red zone, whether you call it your red zone or not. It's that place where you, the end of yourself, so to speak, when you have totally surrendered. And that's what the whole journal is about. Red zone is about. when we all surrender, throw our hands up and say, okay, I've done this my way. Lord, I surrender. Help me to do it your way. So when I did that, to sum it up, my red zone became my place where I commune with God.
Mm.
And I was able, when I say commune, I'm praying, I'm talking to him in prayer and having a conversation. But then I've learned that it's just as important to listen after I'm done praying so that I can hear his
Exactly.
instructions. That's the red
That's
zone. Mm-hmm.
awesome. I love it. I love it. I was
Yes.
like, oh, I can't wait to, I'm able to create me a happy space. I tried to do as much as I could in my little
Mm-hmm.
closet. And it's like, okay, well, when everybody
I've
gets
done that
out,
too.
maybe I'll be able to. But I will I'm gonna read this one sentence in your book, and it says, learning how to love myself is a new adventure. My concept of self love demanded
Yeah.
spending quality, uninterrupted time working on myself. You pencil yourself in as opposed to erasing yourself out. I love it. I love it. I love it. I realized that in this journey that I had to learn how to enjoy my own company. Enjoy my own company. And
Yes.
I had to
Yes.
really truly dig deep and figure out what it was that Valerie liked to do, really like what I like to do, not what somebody else liked to do, but
Right.
what does do I really
Mm-hmm.
like to do. And I discovered a whole
Mm-hmm.
new person. I did. And so
Yeah.
that those lines are underlined in the book as well. And I thank you for this. I thank you. The book is titled Red Glasses. It's titled Red Glasses. It's the Surrender Journal. And I have been having her
Yes.
information kind of stroll across the screen. But I want you to go ahead and just give our listeners additional information on how they can find you. I mean, I have it here as far as your website for Divine Appointment Outreach and where they
Yes.
can find your book. And as a matter of fact, Shandia, you have more than one book.
I do. Mm-hmm.
She's a children
I
author,
do. And
y'all.
I hope you can hear me. We're going. Uh-huh.
I can hear you. And you can go
Yes.
ahead and you can go
Okay,
ahead and
great. Okay, great. Amazon is probably the best place for the children's books or the website that you have there. And we have a store on the site. So if you want an autograph book, of course, you'll need to order yours off on the ministry's website. Um, I believe I'm going to sell a book signed soon because we don't know the date, but we have a new book where my husband I said co-authoring a new book. So I mean, hopefully the new site where we'll be setting up for the sighting, we'll let you guys know about that later. But the
okay.
Amazon site and the one here is the best way to reach us.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to somehow get mine autographed because I did order mine off of Amazon because
Okay.
but I do want mine
Okay.
signed. And I could not find, I have a shirt, y'all. I have a shirt that's a red glasses shirt. I was gonna put it on today to support my sister. But it's somewhere where all my other t-shirts are, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, oh my God, I can't find it. But my dear sister, I truly, truly am so grateful that you took the time out. As many issues as we had with the technical issues that we had. I want to say thank you. Thank you for your yes. Thank you for divulging your life story, your journey in this book that is truly going to help somebody because it helps me. Um, I didn't want to actually do the journal. I didn't want to write in the book per se my journal just in case somebody else might pick it up because I like to share. So I did actually do the 21-day journal in one of my other journals, and I'm glad I did. I learned a lot about myself, and so I want to say thank you Author Minister, or is it Pastor? You one of them up there in that church. I believe Pastor Shadia. Thank you so much for coming on the Mama Goose Show, where we talk real talk. We don't shoot the corners, and we don't what they call we don't do no chaser. Let me put it that way. Thank you so much, my dear sister. I truly appreciate you being on the show. Do you have any final words to share? Oh, looks like you're stuck again, my dear one. Well, I am so sorry about our technical issues, but Shandy, I hope you can hear me. Thank you so very much for joining. And we're gonna have to get this. We're gonna have to redo this, y'all. We're gonna have to redo this show because you guys did not get the gist of her journey, but you will get it if you order the book, Red Glasses. So thank everyone for joining us. Sister Van, I love you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. I love you with the love of Christ. Our next episode, oh, actually, guess what, y'all? Our next episode is Monday, where we have part 2. Hallelujah. Let me go ahead and let her out. All right. Where we have part 2 of our financial literacy, and we are bringing back financial strategist Donna Gorman. And I promise y'all, she gave us a lot of information on part 1, a lot of information, which was 2 weeks ago. And so Monday, she is going to drop a few financial nuggets where more than likely most of us have no idea that these nuggets exist. So I do hope you guys join us on Monday at 8 p.m. for part 2 of financial literacy. Again, this is the Mama Goose Show, where we talk real talk. I hope you guys join us again on the next episode. Be blessed and be a blessing. And please know that I love you with the love of Christ, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Amen. And I'm going to leave y'all with this. Hey, are you thirsty for some inspiration and good energy? Why not sip on a piping hot cup of spiritual tea? If you want to get the real life juice, simply listen to the podcast with Mama Goose.